I feel like a lot of the Sims worlds are kind of lacking in the community lot department. I mean, maybe the real issue is they're lacking in the lot department in general. I wish they were bigger, but it's hard to balance having community lots and residential lots, so I get it. But I just wish there was more places to go and visit with your Sims. And today I'm kind of in the mood to build a restaurant, so here's what I'm thinking. We build a restaurant for Henford-on-Bagley, the cottage living world, because that world comes with like an old school British pub sort of building, but it's a bar. There isn't an actual restaurant in the world. So today's plan is to build one. And also, we have a sponsor. So thank you to Casetify for sponsoring this video. I want to tell you a bit about our friends over at Casetify because they sent me so many cute cases. And let's be real, I need these. I have a small problem with dropping my phone. I'm a bit clumsy. I got these like 2 weeks ago and I put this one on immediately and I really like it. Also, my mom and sister keep complimenting me on it, which is a good sign. I think I might give them some cases for Christmas. I mean, you can see from the selection here, but they also have like endless print options. They have loads of curated prints, but you can also customize them. Look, this one says Simsie. But they have like loads of fonts and layouts and stuff that you can customize. Their cases also offer drop protection up to 9.8 feet, which is very good for a person like me. Their cases all feature Defensify, which is an antimicrobial coating that kills 99% of bacteria. But most important to me, their impact and ultra impact cases are made from 65% recycled materials. And they have a program called Drop to Zero. So if you ever like upgrade your phone, get a new one, obviously your old case doesn't fit anymore, you can mail it back to them. They'll recycle it and then give you a discount on your next one. So instead of just throwing it out or getting rid of it, you can recycle it and then they'll make more cases out of it. I'm a big fan of Casetify. I think they have the cutest cases. I've also never had more than one phone case at a time before, so I'm kind of excited to have like options. I haven't actually tried this one on yet. Maybe there's a cat hair on it. Okay. Not included with your purchase. Maybe I'll try it on now. I made it say Kayla. You can customize them with like initials and other patterns and stuff too. There's cat hair inside it. How is there cat hair inside my case? How does this happen? If you have pets, you know, it just gets everywhere. Oh, I really like this one. And Casetify is giving us a discount. So if you go to casetify.com/lilsimsie, you can get 15% off your order. Makes a good present. I'm just saying, for yourself or a friend, but mostly for you. So I decided to build this in that 30 by 20 lot in Henford-on-Bagley. It's like almost directly across from the pub, so it felt like an appropriate spot for it to be. And I kind of tried to make it look a bit like an older house. Like it's got a thatched roof. It's obviously made out of like old brick stone stuff. You get it. It kind of has that vibe. I looked up loads of reference photos and stuff, and the thing is, a lot of these type of buildings in a lot of places in Europe look like this. So you might think it looks like a house, but it's appropriate, okay? It makes sense. Just give me a second, let it come together. We have like a big front patio with some seating, like it ends up making sense. It also is actually quite big, like it has a whole upstairs and stuff like that when it probably doesn't need to. So I ended up making an apartment for the owner. Like in my head, I was like, oh, you know, the downstairs is the restaurant and then upstairs there's some bathrooms and like a small studio apartment for the person who owns it. And you know what? Actual gameplay wise in The Sims, that's a really useful thing to have because it's hard to run a restaurant in The Sims 4. You have to be here like all the time. Same thing with retail stores. If you want to run them, like you have to basically have no life outside of work because you just have to be there all the time. And you can't actually live there. Like you can't physically have your Sims address be this lot, but you could just stay here and never leave. The game's not going to stop you from doing that. So if you're ever playing in a restaurant or like a retail store and you want to just live there, you can put a house on top of it. The game's not going to stop you. The only annoying thing is that obviously their bills are going to go to their real house still. And then if your kids like get home from school or get home from work, they're gonna go straight to the real house and not to the restaurant, but you could just stay here. And you could live on it if you wanted. And then you could have an empty real lot, like their residential lot is just empty, so you have no bills. And because you don't live there, your power's not gonna get shut off. What are they gonna do? Shut off an empty lot? So maybe that's a life hack. I don't know. Anyway, this restaurant is built using only dine out and cottage living. So if you have cottage living and dine out, you can play here. You don't need to have any other packs or anything like that. I tried to make it like actually downloadable, you know, because sometimes I am guilty of this too. We YouTubers use about 1 million packs in our builds and you don't always have all of those, and I get it. The Sims packs are very expensive. I'm just doing the exterior and like landscaping and stuff now, so I think now might be a good time for a little life update, okay? I use speed builds like a podcast, and I recently went to visit my grandparents for Thanksgiving. I hadn't seen them in ages, obviously, because, you know, pandemic and whatnot. So I went up to Chicago to visit my grandparents. Both sets live there. My dad's parents live in like Chicago, and my mom's parents live like a 4-hour drive away. So we drove up, rented a car, drove 4 hours to my mom's parents' house, and then drove back, stayed with my other grandma for a little bit, and then flew home. But the story time comes in on the last day when we were supposed to fly home. right? I'm in Chicago again at this point, and I go to walk to the grocery store to pick up something for lunch for my grandma, and I went to get my wallet, and it was not in my bag. It was not anywhere, in fact. So I was like digging in my purse, in my suitcase, in my coat pocket. I'm like frantically checking everywhere. Keep in mind, my flight at this point home is today, and you need an ID to board a plane, like otherwise you can't. My license is in my wallet, so I'm freaking out, running everywhere. Like my siblings are checking their bags, my mom's checking her bag. We're all stressed, you know? And then we run to the rental car in the parking lot to like see if it fell out of my bag in the car. I can't find it anywhere. We're digging around. Turns out it had fallen between the seats in the car. So it was there the whole time. Just like a little card holder. I don't have like a big wallet or anything. But oh my God. It was just this like frantic rush to find the wallet. I'm like near tears. It's stressful, right? Because you know you have to like board a plane at this point in like 3 hours. And where's my wallet? And plus we had driven 4 hours. Like, so if it was it lost like at my other grandma's house? Was it lost on the way? Like, but luckily it wasn't. But anyway, all of these things were like running through my mind. I was so panicked. So I thought I would share that with you. I'm sure you can relate. At some point you've probably had a similar experience, but it's not a fun experience. It's easy to laugh about now, but that would have been a disaster. I don't even know what you do if you don't have an ID and you have to board a plane. Like, I've got a photo of my license on my phone, but I don't think they would accept that. I have no idea how it works. And you know what? I hope I never have to find out. I sincerely hope that I never have to find that out. Anyway, we're actually on the interior of the restaurant now, so I have more to talk about. And you'll notice that I tried to go for like a bar and restaurant sort of feel. Like there's still a bar in here, but there's also an actual kitchen. So if your sim comes to visit, they can actually like order dinner at a sit-down table and stuff like that instead of just ordering from the bar. I tried to go for like an older sort of look as well, like older flooring, older tiles, kind of like it's been around for a long time. And I got some like half walls and columns. I was just trying to make it look a little bit more interesting. Now keep in mind, the interior of this place is really small. Like there's not actually a lot of tables. I think there's only 3 tables inside, which is really, really small. There's loads of tables outside though. So it kind of gives off like a sort of cozy feel, at least I hope it does. I also put in the kitchen on that left side, there's like a hallway that I sort of imagined that like the waiters would be walking through, and then the kitchen is separate. I saw someone do that in one of my shell challenge builds, and I really liked the idea of it. It seemed very functional to me. So you'll notice the kitchen takes me a bit to figure out, but I think in the end it kind of works out. It was partially because I kind of wanted to hide a lot of the kitchen stuff because I felt like it didn't really go well with the vibe I was going for with the build. Like it was all like really old and wooden, and then we have this like stainless steel kitchen, which obviously in real life I think happens as well. Like it's got to be up to code and whatnot. It's not going to be like rotten wood in the kitchen, is there? But I don't know. I wanted to sort of hide it so the rest of the place still had that charm to it, you know? So I put it off to the side. I had the same issue with the host station because you'll see it right by the front door there, that like little stand for the host. You need to have one of those for the restaurant to function in The Sims, but it's like not that cute. There's only 2 of them, and like the styles both aren't the most like traditional. Like one of them is super modern and the other one is like kind of modern. It's wooden, but So I really had a hard time with those, like trying to figure out if it was fine. You have to put it though, so at a certain point you have to just give in and be like, yeah, it's fine, because it has to be there. But admittedly, I don't like it that much. Also, with this restaurant, I didn't build it as like any other style of lot, but you probably could change it so that it also works as a bar. And what I mean by that is I didn't put like all of the bar items in this one too, but it probably wouldn't be so hard to like change the lot type to bar and then add in like some music and call it a day. It would probably still function super well. So depending on your needs, you could switch it. I wanted to have the restaurant though, because I like to bring my Sims here. Like I really like to bring my Sims to restaurants and have them go on dates and stuff like that. Granted, the restaurants are a bit slow. The service is not the best in The Sims 4, I will admit, but that's okay. I think if they're gonna go back and do any more pack refreshes like they did with Spa Day, I think that Dine Out is probably high up on my list of things I'd like to see get a refresh. My number 1 thing I want to see refreshed is actually luxury party stuff, which you might be like, Kayla, why? That pack is horrible. That's why. Luxury party stuff is an absolutely terrible Sims pack. It's like genuinely a waste of money. It does not have anything useful in it. It is like 1/3 of the size of all of the more recent stuff packs. Like that pack is just bad. So if they're gonna go back and update anything, it should be luxury party. Like it should be that one. Because if you bought it, you wasted your money. I mean, I bought it too. It was the first ever pack for The Sims 4. So I'm with you. We're all in this together. But like that one, it needs an update. We are owed this. The people who purchased that pack deserve better. But Dine Out is also one that like I think could use some help. I mean, it's always fun. I've I've always enjoyed playing with it, and like I don't dislike it. I really would like to see it get a little bit more love. I don't know if they're gonna do any more free updates anytime soon. I hope that they do, because I love the spa day one, but we'll see. Something else about the build that I really liked, I used a lot of red. I mean, it's not like a red, it's kind of a reddish brownish color almost, but I used a lot of it around here, like on the windows and on the walls inside. And okay, now keeping in mind, the red on the windows and door is not the same as the red on the walls, but that is not my fault. It's because the wallpaper is from Cats and Dogs, and then the other one is from this pack. So, and the windows and doors are from Cottage Living. Oh my god, I just realized this build is not only Cottage Living and Red Dine Out. Oh no, I used loads of packs. I'm a liar. I thought for some reason, oh no. Do you know why I thought that? Because I just built a retail store that only uses Get to Work in the base game, but this one has loads of packs. Oh god, I'm a liar. Feel free to unsubscribe. I apologize sincerely for lying to you. It will never happen again. Oh no. I really thought it was just base game, Dine Out, and Cottage Living, but now that I look at it, I can see with my own eyes university chairs, a Cats and Dog wallpaper, there's get-together chairs outside. That's embarrassing. It's probably just those packs though. I don't think I would have used many others. Oh god. Anyway, let's get back to the build quickly here. So I'm still furnishing the interior. I managed to put in actually quite a few windows, which I really liked. I want to come visit this place. I think I would have a nice time here. Although, granted, in real life, I doubt that I would have many options for food here. I don't know how many meatless or milkless options there would be at a restaurant like this in real life, but in The Sims, I set up loads of options like that, so I'll show you the menu at the end of the video, but it's fun because The Sims has like pretty much a vegan version of like every new recipe, so they'll add like, I don't know, bangers and mash, and then also veggie bangers and mash, so they usually do both. They'll give us both options, which is nice because then your Sims can actually eat everything. Or if they added like a meat pie and a cottage pie, like they usually would have a meatless version, which is nice. Anyway, those are all new recipes that came with Cottage Living, by the way. We actually do have those new recipes that came in this pack. Okay, so as far as the restaurant kitchen goes, you don't actually need anything in the kitchen aside from like the dine out kitchen set, like that official stove thingy. You don't need to have a fridge or anything like that, but I still usually put them in my builds just because it feels practical. Like you'd probably have a fridge in here and a dishwasher and like stuff like that. So I still put it in. And then I guess technically if you wanted to come here and eat for free, you could just get a quick meal of like some cereal or something out of the fridge if you wanted to. And then right outside of the kitchen, I put like a little fenced in area with the trash cans. I was kind of thinking like practically what would be a nice place to put the trash cans in. By the kitchen door seems like a good spot, easy access for the workers and stuff like that. I'm also noticing now that that door has a mail slot in it. I've noticed that about a lot of doors that I use as back doors sometimes, and it's like, this doesn't make that much sense, does it? Mail slot in the back door that leads into the kitchen, right? I don't think so. Just don't look too closely at it, okay? It's fine. I found that that attitude is necessary for much of The Sims. Just pretend it's not happening, it's fine. Just block out that the colors don't match, you know, the two different reds. Don't look at it. Pretend it's not happening. It's fine. Anyway, so you see that staircase that the archway leads to downstairs in the restaurant? When you go up that staircase, that's where the bathrooms in that apartment I mentioned before are. And there's also like another fireplace and a little sitting area up there, basically. We'll get to that in a second, but we're slowly finishing up the rest of the exterior, like putting some more decorations in and just trying to make the place seem a little bit more full. Looking back on this, I realized that I did make a couple poor choices. For example, the vast majority of the seating at this restaurant is outside. And this restaurant is in Henford-on-Bagley, which is one of the rainiest worlds in The Sims 4. So if you have seasons installed, it's gonna be bad weather, like a lot of the time when you try and come here. In true England fashion, you will experience that, which is not my finest moment, okay? Realizing now, maybe it's not so practical, but it's nice. When the weather is nice, it'll be real nice. I can already envision you're gonna get a call from your Sims friend. They'll be like, hey, you wanna go grab breakfast? And you're like from Willow Creek, so you know, without realizing you haven't seen the weather forecast for Henford-on-Bagley, you go with them, and then it's an absolute miserable downpour, and then you get struck by lightning and die. I mean, it's bound to happen. I can feel it already. Okay, anyway, otherwise, that apartment I was talking about is really, really small. Like, it's very small. It's a tiny studio. They do have a full bathroom with a shower. They have a bed, and they have a full kitchen as well, but the kitchen is also really, really small. Like, it's just the fridge, the stove, the sink, and one counter. So it functions, your sim can use it here, but it is absolutely very tiny. If I were you and I was gonna play in this restaurant, I would probably lock this door, like the apartment's entry door, so that you don't get like guests coming upstairs and sitting on your bed or using your bathroom instead of theirs, because that would be weird. But it is nice for the actual gameplay. Like if you were gonna run the restaurant here, you could stay in this room. And look, I don't mean to be crude, but if you had your sims come on a date here and you for some reason wanted to have them, you know, try for a baby, there is no need to place a woohoo bush because there is a bed available in this location. I'm sorry, that is disgusting. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up. But I'm just thinking about how I play the game, and I know that you gotta do what you gotta do in the 100 baby challenge, okay? And in other challenges too, or just in regular gameplay. Sometimes there is a need for this sort of thing. Oh, is this brand safe? Casetify, I'm sorry, I love you so much. But with that, we're pretty much done and wrapping up the rest of the build, so I wanna pop into the game and give you a quick tour. Oh, lovely weather and lighting we have here. Okay, well this is the restaurant. So you can see there's like a little sign, there's a bike, there's some seating up here in the front. Down the side of the build, I did put like some monkey bars for the kids to play on. The trash cans are back here off that kitchen. Ignore the back, the windows are odd, but let's be real, it's realistic, okay? It might be ugly in The Sims, but it looks nice inside and it's realistic. Just don't look at the back. And then when you actually walk inside, it's pretty small, but there is a coat rack and an umbrella stand by the door. There's like a slightly bigger table on this side, jukebox. We've got 2 small tables, some chairs, and a fireplace. We have the whole bar. This door takes you into the waiters area where they can access like all the extra plates and you know, get the food. And then this door goes into the kitchen where we have a trash can and pots and a dishwasher and you know, all the function that you need. Up these small stairs, we have the bathrooms. They're not anything fancy, it's just a toilet and a sink. But there is a small seating area up here, which is nice. And then that little tiny, tiny, tiny apartment I was talking about. Emphasis on tiny, okay? It is not the biggest place, but it works. And that's the whole restaurant. It's not huge. I did set up a custom menu for the restaurant. They've got a few drinks, couple teas, coffee, you know, like water, lemonade, sparkling water because it's England. Appetizers, we got things like olives and soup and salad and French fries, I don't know. But I tried to go for a combo of like British food, pub food, casual, but a couple fancier options. You get it. Also, I did this intentionally. I set it up so that it would be like an even complete full row when you're actually in game, because in game you can't see the plus sign, so like this thing would, you know, it would just be 3 exact rows. I did that on purpose for all of them. So there's like 2 rows of drinks, 1 row of appetizers, 3 of main courses, 1 of desserts. But look, scones, crumpets. I felt it was appropriate. So, you know what? I always have fun picking the menus for these kind of things. They're so funny. I don't know. I enjoy it. But this is on the gallery if you want to download it. This is the lot it's placed on if you can tell from the neighborhood. And with that being said, I think I'm gonna go. Make sure to check out casetify.com/lilsimsie for 15% off your order, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. The last time I had my Sims go to a restaurant, 2 Sims died of old age while I was there. 2 of them just on the floor dead in the middle of my dinner. Is that not the most Sims thing you have ever heard?